every now and again, not on YouTube, but on apps like Instagram or websites like Tumblr, I get a message saying, "Can you do a day in life video?" And I'll get into a little bit why I'm suspicious of these messages, but I just want to flat out say, honey, it ain't happening. All right? And there's two reasons for that, two major reasons for that. One is just simply the fact that I am not an exciting person. As much as I love to entertain all of you here on YouTube, my actual life is not that exciting. It's mostly work, home, voice lessons. I used to get out a lot more. My mom and I used to do a lot of thrift shopping. We do it still a little bit, but not to the extent that we used to. Part of that is the fact that we were actually looking for furniture for the house. We've remodeled the house a little over 10 years ago now. So there is that. Uh, the house is fully furnished. We really don't need anything. All of our furnishings, are vintage or antique. They all come from either thrift stores or antique stores. Like uh, the desk here that I'm on, it's probably close to 200 years old, and I got it at a thrift store for really cheap. The bed's from a thrift store. The mattress isn't. Mattresses, you always want to buy new, okay? But the bed frame is from a thrift store. That disco ball you see is from the old barn in San Juan Capistrano. That's a wonderful antique store. Um, the lamp that you see back there, which is actually in the shape of a pineapple, so it would be perfect in an episode of Psych if they were still filming Psych. Uh, it it's from an antique store that sadly went out of business and got replaced by a Dollar Tree. But that happens with antique stores. The owners pass away, and no, their kids don't want to carry on. So what can you do? So yeah, everything's antique or vintage with the exception of sensible things like mattresses, you know. But let's face it, this desk is going to outlast me. It's probably going to be passed on to one of my great nephews, unless vampires are real and I become one. And then I'm keeping the desk. So, yeah, I'm not an exciting person. I don't have these amazing days. I don't see any reason why anybody would want to see a day in my life. It would basically be similar to filming my dog, who is currently asleep. If I film like 3 hours of her sleeping, that would actually be more exciting than my life. The other reason is simply the fact that I don't edit. I don't know how to edit, is what I should say. I'm getting distracted by whoever is doing yard work outside. Um, some neighbor is being very loud with their yard work. Hopefully, it's not picking up too much on the video. But you think if I knew how to edit, I would be doing music videos with Loki on a chopstick? I wanted to use a popsicle stick, but I didn't have any long enough. Yeah. Do you think I might have still used the paper puppet because I couldn't find a friend who cosplays as Loki who was willing to be in it. I don't have any friends that cosplay as Loki, actually. I have lots of cosplaying friends, but none that do Loki. But somebody used the puppet, but it would have been better done. Because, for one thing, the camera I'm using has a great big huge strap on it, and it was just better to just film with my right hand because otherwise the strap falls forward and it gets in the shot. So, and I didn't feel like taking the strap off because it's a pain in the butt to put on. Um, so I'm right-handed, so I'm trying to film, and I kept forgetting to make Loki dance. You know, so it would have been a much better video if I knew how to edit. And I'll tell you something, I would love to do, those videos, and pardon me for cursing because I happen to know that there's some children that follow me on YouTube. So I try not to curse because of that. And because I'm not really a big cursor most of the time unless I'm really angry. Um, but those videos that are titled Shit People Say, shit people say to autistics, shit people say to the disabled. I would love to do a shit people say to anemics. You know, I would probably have to actually gather more from fellow anemics about it because most of the things people say to me usually has to do, you know, I flat out tell them my endocrinologist The man who went to medical school said it's easier for the human body to absorb iron from meat, specifically red meat, than it is for the human body to absorb iron from vegetables. All right? So I flat out said, my doctor actually said that I have to eat 6 ounces of solid, not like hamburger or anything, solid red meat once a week to keep my iron levels up. And the first thing these people say to me is, oh, you just need to eat more spinach. Just eat more spinach. Lady, I just told you. The doctor said otherwise. Okay, I can get more iron from a 6-ounce steak than I can get from a whole pound of spinach. All right, and let's not forget that I actually have, I can't pronounce this, reverse dietical something or other. So I'm not supposed to eat raw veggies to begin with. And they're always saying you just need to eat more raw spinach. And I'll tell you the truth, I love raw spinach. But, one spinach salad and I'm in severe GI distress the entire next day. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically, it's amazing how many people think that they know better than my doctor, the man who went to medical school, who's an endocrinologist, so he deals a lot with with things that humans need, especially those of us with things like polycystic ovarian syndrome like I have, or diabetes like my mom has. They think they know more than the man who went to medical school. This is basically like asking, like, say, Gordon Ramsay to build a rocket to go to Mars. He's a wonderful chef. From what I've seen, I've never tried his food, but he looks like a wonderful chef. But I don't think that he could work for NASA building rockets, and I'm sure he would agree. So yeah, no, if I could edit videos, and that's not to say I would love to be in some properly edited videos. So like if you are a film student in the Southern California area, specifically Orange County, especially if you go to Orange Coast College and you need somebody willing to work for pretty much free or a $10 Starbucks gift card, even if you just want me to play a dead body, here I am, as long as I'm not working that day, hey, you want me to be your mute masked serial killer? Oh, lovely. I've caught on my headband. The only requirement there is it has to be a mask of similar material to this, or it cannot be latex. I am very allergic to latex, and I think you would prefer that your serial killer get killed by the survivor girl or the survivor boy rather than the actress getting killed by a latex allergy. Okay? So, and if you're curious about this was painted by my friend Douglas from Drowned Boys Cosplay. Go look up his channel, especially if you like masks and horror movies and the band Ghost. Didn't he? This is from my Red Death cosplay. I was going for a look that's a cross between the Grim Reaper and a plague doctor. Because if you haven't read Edgar Allan Poe's The Mask of Red Death, you should. It's about a plague called Red Death. So anyway, now that all that's out of the way, let's get to the suspicion about the messages. And if my suspicions are wrong, I apologize. However, let's keep in mind, I'm the kind of person who pretty much all my school years would get these anonymous secret admirer messages on Valentine's Day, because I've always been fat, and of course people equate fat with being ugly and worthless and everything. So there was always some boy or sometimes some girl who would give me these a secret admirer so they could laugh and point at me if I got excited, which I never did because I was always suspicious of those messages, And almost all these, let me close my window. Almost all these messages, no, every single one of these messages actually has come from people who don't have any sort of profile photo, and especially on Instagram, they don't have any content posted. Okay, so how do I know that they aren't all from the same person and it isn't for the exact same reasons as those secret admirer Valentines? Okay, I'm very sorry, but as somebody who was bullied a lot and still is bullied at the age of 42, I still get people bullying me. Though, truth be told, right now, I would say 100% of my bullies are anti vaxxers. Um, I can't help but be suspicious of these types of messages. So that's another reason why you're not going to see a day in the life video. Because how do I know that you're actually being sincere when you don't have any sort of profile picture and you don't have any content on your Instagram? You know, I've actually made it a rule now for myself that if somebody follows me and they don't have a profile picture, or if they're and they don't have any content on their Instagram within a week, even if it's just like a picture of a bird, then I'm going to block them, because chances are they are a spam account, you know. So, yeah, I can't help but be suspicious. Life experiences, and again, I apologize if this is not true. If you are somebody who's sincere, I am very sorry if I'm offending you, but you have to understand, with my life experiences, I can't help but be suspicious. So, I've prattled on way too long about this. I know that these longer videos are not exactly popular, but I really had to get my feelings out there. And yeah, a day in the life video is not going to happen. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just simply not going to happen. So, no.